Welcome back to another edition of Wednesday Chats. I'm Eileen.
And I'm Sean.
And today we're going to be talking about what you can expect on Mother's Day Sunday. So Sean, Mother's Day's coming up.
Yeah, it's this weekend.
And so here at Monmouth Christian Church, we do things a little unusual for Mother's Day, not what you would typically expect on a Mother's Day Sunday. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what is the thought process behind how we do Mother's Day?
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing is just to recognize that Mother's Day is a great celebration. It's a good celebration. Everyone has a mother. It's necessity.
Generally.
It's a necessity of biology. That everyone has a mother. But Mother's Day also isn't always a happy weekend for everybody, whether it's from losing a mother, or from not having a great mother, or from wanting to be a mother and being struggling with fertility issues, or wanting to be a mom and just not even, having a spouse or anything, that kind of stuff. And, so wanting to begin with a recognition that for some of you that this weekend that we're all going to be celebrating our mothers, and that can be a hard thing. So we want to be compassionate about that. But then also at the heart of what we're celebrating in Mother's Day, the real thing under it that we love to celebrate in good moms, I believe theologically is a reflection of the imago Dei, of the image of God. It says back in Revelation that God made man and women and he made them in his image, right? And so there's
in Revelations or Genesis?
Sorry, did I say Revelation?
You did.
That's the other end of the book. In Genesis, and it says that, so what that tells us is that there's different parts of the character and image of God that we see in men and women differently, and in different seasons of life. And so I think the reason that Mother's Day reverberates in our culture, even in those who aren't followers of Christ, is because it says in the Old Testament that God placed eternity in our hearts. And Romans would talk about, it talks about that even if you don't know the law, that you can look around and you can see things to understand about who God is and what God's doing. And so I think that when we look at mothers and good mothering, there's something that feels holy about that. There's something that feels even otherworldly. And I think that that's because it's the image of God that is being seen most clearly when we mother and we engage in the act of mothering. And so so with that, we believe that we as a church are called to mother well, to reflect the image of God well. And so we encourage our church. We spend a lot of time talking about on Mother's Day on ways we as a church, men and women, can mother those in need in our community. And so we talk about that everyone has a place, everyone has a role that they can play, no matter your finances, your life situation, your season of life. And we talk about child sponsorship, which... Yeah,
that's something I really am passionate about. My husband and I sponsor some children through, now I can only think of the... CMF.
Oh, no, now it changed.
No. It's MOHI.
Mission of Hope International.
There you go, thank you.
It used to be CMF.
And we do that, and we'll have the opportunity on Sunday for you to look at sponsorship cards too and see if that might be something you wanted to do, sponsor them monthly for their education and their food and a chance to learn about Jesus. And so that is one way.
And at some point, a little teaser, at some point in hopefully the nearer future now that COVID stuff is settling, we'll be taking a team to Africa to go to the school and meet the families that our church has been able to be a part of.
And we had one scheduled, and stupid COVID wrecked it. But we sponsor all the children from the same school so that we can have that objective. So when we go, we can see all the sponsored kids in one location. And so that's going to be really fun.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. So we talk about child sponsorship because if all you can do is write a check for $35 a month, then that's what you can do. We talk about foster care, and we encourage people to consider fostering, but there's other roles you can play in foster care. You can be what they call a lobby parent. You can you can be a respite care provider. All kinds of things that can happen. We start our diapers and wipes drive on Mother's Day as a way of inviting the church to be a part of the foster care community. And then lastly is adoption. And we recognize that that is an irregular commitment, that there's not a lot, not everybody's going to be called to that, but that in those three areas, everyone has a role to play.
But I would argue that you might not be able to officially, legally adopt a kid, but you certainly can adopt somebody, as far as if you find somebody or a teenager or, I mean, a younger kid. That would be creepy. You'd probably go to jail if you tried to adopt a kid without legal means. But I think about, we have a person in our family that is not legally our child, but we consider them our child. And so, you know, if you just purposefully get involved in somebody's life to try to, somebody younger and, you know, maybe needs that.
Yeah, there's a place for
point is just
all
do
of
something.
us to do something.
Yes, to do something.
And so this Mother's Day, I hope that that you take an opportunity, that you have an opportunity to honor your mom, to celebrate her in some way. And I hope that you'll have an opportunity to come and join us, and that we can have a conversation and encourage one another, whether you are a mom or not. Whether you're a woman or a man, that we all are called to reflect the image of God, to be His image bearers, and part of that looks like mothering, caring for the most overlooked, the unwanted, the unnoticed, and that we can all do that as a body and love our community well. So we hope you'll plan on joining us this week for Mother's Day. Love you guys.